Hello, welcome to the Can Canstello Civic Centre. This is this lovely building behind me. The exhibition is inside. I'm going to take you in. I thought I'd show you my lovely face before we start because masks are obligatory inside. Okay, so here we go. So this is the poster for the exhibition, and here we are. So I'll give you a quick whiz round. So here I am, and there's my avocado. Ding, ding, ding. I painted avocados because I like avocados. You know, this painting is very much about the stone. I mean, I quite like asymmetry, but yeah, this is all about the stone. And what I really like is those loose red brush marks and all those lovely squiggly different greens. You know, loads of different greens. And then when you pull back, the whole thing makes sense. And you get the impression of a avocado. So that's my Fauvism wall behind me. Should we have a look at that? Do I have to walk backwards? No, I don't. Okay, so Fauvism, as you can tell from this, is very, very Van Gogh, you know. He was king of Fauvists. At the time, I was watching loads of Van Gogh, what are they called? Documentaries. Not documentaries, how could it be a documentary? No, I was watching every single film that I could find on Van Gogh. And then, of course, it totally influenced me, and this is what came out. So let's have a look at this one. This is called Yellow Sky. I'm going to switch you round again. So this is Yellow Sky. And I was walking the dog, and I just looked up the embankment, and it just caught my eye. I like the way that these two trees are silhouetted. They're almond trees. I've got a thing for blue trees. And the foreground, yeah, I painted it with my fingers. I just got right into it. I absolutely enjoyed this painting so much. And then the next yellow one, this is between the city and the sea. You know, like when you're on an aeroplane and you look down and you just think, who on earth lives there? What's going on down there? Well, this is the type of thing that goes on down there. I was on a country lane driving to see my friend. Well, I was going to pick up the cat in my car, and there was a hole in the road and I couldn't go any further, so I had to stop and wait. And, you know, glancing around, I looked down the valley and I was just like, wow. So I took a photograph and I painted it in my studio. And again, just totally played with the paint. This, you know, I quite like using red instead of black as a dark colour. But you see right down, and beyond that mountain is the sea. And my red trees, well no, blue trees again, red background. This is a nighttime painting. So let's let you see the texture in there. You know, when you have a painting at home and you can look at it all the time, just staring at all the different brush marks and things, that can just be satisfying on its own. And dramatic landscape. There's a bit more of a story behind this one. I don't know whether you want to hear it, though. Started off with a pink sky. It was very pretty at one point. But when I'm painting, I just let stuff happen. And basically, I'm perimenopausal, and my periods are all over the place. And I'm sorry, but that is period sky and period lake or reservoir. I just let it come out, and it's like, well, okay, it's very dramatic, but I'm just being honest with what's going on in my world and my emotions. So, yes, this is actually a perimenopausal painting. And I'm sure there's a lot of people my age who will totally understand that one. So I have to say thank you to everybody that helped me decide which order to put these paintings on the wall, because I'm not the best curator. So what should we look at next? Nice green wall. Should we look at the sculptures? They're stoneware, which means they're high-fired and durable. You don't get the bright colours when you do stoneware firings. And I really like this turquoise glaze, as you can tell. This is my friend Sian, sitting by the pool. And the pool is made from Bombay sapphire broken glass from the gin bottle. I was swimming past her. The pool is actually much bigger than that. And I just looked at her and I was like, oh God, she's so cool. You know, she's just so matter-of-fact cool. And I imagined that I would paint her, but I was doodling with some clay and she came out in the clay. And yeah, she's just a cool dudess. And this is an autobiographical piece. Yep, the perks of living in the south of Spain do pay off. So that's my favourite way of cooling down in the summer. Okay, I've been a bit generous with my proportions. Forgive me. Now this is a wall-hanging angel. And she looks beautiful if she's placed high up, you know, like in a bedroom or just high up on the wall. And then she's got a really nice energy that you know, just looks down, and like all angel energy, it's kind of got a nice blessing feel. She's got eagle wings, by the way, and that is actually a Plunkett bottom. Plunketts have very, very nice bottoms, I might add. And talking of bottoms, here's another bottom. This is a bottom cast. Again, it's a wall hangings plaque. It's not a plaque, is it? It's a 3D relief sculpture. It's in the shape of a love heart, and it's got flowers on it. I've done quite a few pieces like this using body casts, and the other ones have got roses on, and I called them Smell the Roses, but I like these pieces. They're cheeky. They can go outside, hang on your garden wall. Each one's different because I just play with them. Little birdies. When I have a bag of clay, I don't let any of it go to waste, and at the end I just like squidge something out. I like these little fellas. This is a little goat, just a doodle. Now, the cracked earth bowls, I worked on this texture for absolutely years to get it right. And yeah, I finally got there with it, and the application of it as a bowl, because I made so many things that were rubbish, I just threw them away. But now it's like elephant skin, it's cracked earth, I like the contrast between the centre and the outside. This bird is called Migration. I made it at an international event at the Kitty Harry Sculpture Garden, and it's got lots of elements from different nations going on in there. It's a lot of reflections, sorry. And I called it Migration because for me it's about the freedom of movement that birds enjoy. And humans have to do a lot of paperwork in order to enjoy such freedoms. But when you look at it, yeah, I like this bird. And my old rabbit, old Flopsy, can't see her, but she's a sweetheart. She's got a little fanny in there, if you can see it, just about. Now, I'll show you this painting. It's just a little painting. Started off as a doodle, but my friends, my Catalan friends were like, that is such an English dude dancing. Spanish men, Catalan men don't dance like that. And this is a hopeful painting. You know, with all the pandemic going on, I was like, well, the roaring 20s. Let's hope we get some. The face is actually my niece, and I gave her red hair because why not? Oh, and some of the other parts of the photos, I'm afraid they are stolen from my cousin's pictures on Facebook. So that's one of my cousins, the fella, he's from one of my cousins. He was at a wedding, and I just plucked one of the audience out who was dancing like that. And the hands belong to another cousin who went out for cocktails. Going to keep the cousins guessing now that I go through their photos and take reference material when I feel like it. So that is the little ceramic display. And let's keep going. Okay, these are my new paintings. I've called them Creatures of the Garden. And I did paint them with this space in mind because the floor, it's all about the floor. I imagined that they would look good in here. And I wanted to do something with this distorted female body. That was my plan. That was the starting point. So where should we start then? Let's start over here at this one. These plants are mostly actually from Andalusia, mixed up with a little bit of like the local town on the hills in Barcelona. It can be quite hilly. Let's have a look. Refocused. Just going to give you a clean. Is that better? Or maybe I just can't go too close. So anyway, I like this foot, as you can tell. So a lot of these flowers are actually just made up from my head. That one isn't. That one's from Gareth's garden in Lanharon. So You know, you can see it's quite loosely painted in there, really. The squares are just touching. She's got a really playful nature, and this one, well, she's a little bit more grotesque. She's definitely mutant. Come on, let's look at the eyes. Look at the eyes. Oh my God. Where do you focus? This tree is the Judas tree, and it's been planted all over Barcelona. It's absolutely beautiful in springtime. And then by June, it spits sap everywhere, and the roads are totally sticky. But I forgive it because it is so beautiful. These plants are from the botanical gardens in Barcelona. So, if you look, she's actually only got like 3 fingers and 1 thumb, and her extra leg is here. So what I did with these ladies is because I started off with a very beautiful model, and I felt that she has nothing to prove, so that I could play with her a little bit more and bring out the grotesque. So she's not trying to be beautiful, she's not trying at all. And I find that actually more beautiful in the long run. I mean, I did speak to the model, and I said to her, like, can we do something a little bit more crazy? And she was definitely up for it. And then, you know, the garden developed afterwards. Because at one point she was up against a pistachio-coloured wall, and it was very flat, and I just took the whole thing a lot further. And I filmed the whole process, which I haven't edited yet, but I will be showing you how these paintings came about. This is the yellow wall. The shadow of a tree, filmed in winter when there's no leaves, and I just like the way the boughs of the tree were in some kind of dance. Although I did end up just painting bricks and floor tiles in order to get that beautiful dance down on canvas. This is my lovely cousin, Susie, who's just cool, practicing my skin tones on this. This is just a really nice yellow living truck. When I say nice, what I actually mean is awesome. And then my friend Lucia, posing with her baguette, because she's just brilliant as well. This is one of my first realist paintings, because, you know, it's just such a nice truck. It's a shame to spoil it with any kind of expression. And the thistles. I painted these thistles because I love thistles, and, you know, I had to do a lot of, you know, get all the background in, loads of scratchy textures and things, just to have fun with the actual thistle. And then because I had so much fun painting the thistles on those, there's actually another one that I sold. I put thistles on this one as well. Thistles are really good fun to paint. Self-portrait. I think every artist needs to do a self-portrait every so often. It's just a discipline. So you see, I do put like the plants in the background. I do like plants. They create a warm setting for the subject. So these paintings were all done in lockdown. We had a hard lockdown in March in Spain, and this was the first painting to come out. It's very Edward Hopper, with the light cast across the wall. But unlike Edward Hopper, whose figures are always lonely, this painting is about connection. They're very relaxed. We were on a Zoom call together. And I snapped them. Another stolen image. You can't ask people permission to take their photo, because otherwise they start posing. This one's painted on board rather than canvas. But yeah, a nice domestic scene. The girls on the train. It was a Saturday night on the way home, about midnight, on the metro in Barcelona, and I'd had a couple of drinks, and these girls looked so cool, and I was like, don't stare. I just got my camera out and I snapped them. Like, I looked like I was just playing a game or something. I didn't let them know what I was doing. And I'm like, wow, I wonder what they'll think if they ever found or saw this painting. But I like the idea of elevating strangers, you know, so that you can see them. You know, it's rude to stare, but it's absolutely possible to stare at a painting for as long as you like. So the relationship between these women I find really interesting. I mean, you know, you can judge them, you can look at them, you can give them stories, you can give them personalities, you can give them careers. You can give them ages, you can give them children. The skin tones change colour depending on the time of day, how the light is hitting them, which I like a lot. Okay, let me try and think of something to say about my flowers. This is a nigella, photographed from Gareth's garden. These are exercises in realism. I've always liked flowers. I used to deliver flowers in the City of London. And I used to do flower arrangements. This one's Aligea chrysantha. I can't say it. But I surprised myself that I could paint like that, to be quite honest. And flowers are a forgiving subject. This is Jane Phillips. an iris, again from my friend Gareth's garden. Total pleasure to paint this. And I managed to achieve the ghost-like area here, which is actually really difficult to do because as the paint dries, it sinks in and it changes. You know, you mix a colour on your palette and you put it on the canvas and it just changes and you're like, oh. So you kind of have to guess the colour as you put it on the canvas. Well, honestly, vermouth, Catalan vermouth is totally different from martini. I'm sorry, it's on a different scale. It's amazing here. And you buy it from these little bodegas in plastic bottles, or you go into a little bar and you have it with olives and maybe a slice of orange. And it's not sweet, or sometimes it can be, because, you know, different bodegas have different flavours. But it's absolutely delicious, and it's drunk in the afternoon. Well, hey. So when I first came to Barcelona and our friends were taking us around, we had, we were looking for flats and we were looking at different areas, and this was a lovely little cafe, and I was presented with it, and I just looked at it going, okay, I'm photographing my food and drink, but, you know, for a reason, I have painted it. So it's... See the detail, the highlights are just, it's just loose when you get up close. I have been working from photographs. I feel really comfortable doing it, especially when I realised that all the old masters were doing it. You know, Degas' ballerinas, do you really think they all stood around still for him for all that time? No, he worked with photography. So when I started finding out that all the old masters were using photography, I was like, blow it, me too. And you can see that it's totally improved my work. I think it's because I'm interested in the subject matter and the idea that I want to get across. When I was a VJ and I was doing a lot of video projections, the flowers in my work were always coming out of the darkness, coming out of black. And so I kind of carried that on through these. So right. Now the last piece in the exhibition, I'll tell you a little bit about this. This is sad, this piece. Well, it's very personal for me. The flowers are called weeping roses, and I painted those after my father died. And they were given to my mum from her, my younger sister's school friends' mothers gave them to my mum. My mum's house was full of flowers. It was absolutely amazing. But these ones were just, they stood out. And as we grieved and talked and spent amazing time together, I was looking at these roses constantly, just observing them. And when I got home and I'd taken a few photos, I was like, I'm going to paint them. And so I did. And they've been hanging in my bedroom, and I wasn't going to bring them because they're mine. Don't want to sell them, but I was thinking I can always have a print. I wake up every morning looking at them, and they just bring me such comfort. You know, at one point I had them looking very, you know, sharp and real. I was like, I don't want that. I want something more gestural, more expressive. So these are special flowers, comforting flowers. I mean, art is such an amazing way to put your feelings into perspective. You know, something happens and you just dedicate some time and some art materials and just see what comes out. It does help. If there's anything you want to know, then just ask. If there's anything you want to see close up, just let me know. I mean, I do indulge with the plants and flowers. These are fennel. They look like toys, to be quite honest, in their bloom. They were absolutely amazing. Her knobbly knees. Again, look at those. Yeah, I don't know, I just kind of like, it's hard to tell when you're painting in the studio what something really looks like because you're looking at it so strongly the whole time. You grow blind to it. So it wasn't until I got them into a neutral space like this gallery that I could actually go, oh, wow, that's what I meant. I try not to fuss about my work, but it's hard to know what's going to come out and how things are going to be, and it's really difficult to judge. But yeah, I'm pleased with these. And yes, totally inspired by the floor in here. Yeah, Gareth, I came here to look at the space, and I was like, I think they'll look good on this floor. And also, when I first put them up, the cleaning lady was here, and she looked at it and she was like, that's me, that's what I do, that's my pose when I'm cleaning the floor. Just need a rag in my hand. So I was really happy with that. Yeah, the elements I choose to paint, it's all autobiographical. It's things I experience and, you know, just things that capture my imagination and that keep going round in my head. And then I just think, well, you know, I'll just turn it into some art, put it in, or take it out. You know, I obliterate a lot of stuff that never, you know, gets to see the light of day. Well, thank you all for joining me. Thank you for coming virtually to my exhibition. It's a shame that we're still in restrictions, so at least I'm having an exhibition. Oops. Cool. Okay, lovelies. I'm going to love you and leave you. Bye.